What is the first bend of Wuyi Mountain's 9-bend stream called? The water is unbelievably green. The boatman joked that from the first raft in the morning, it almost looks clean enough to drink. Hi everyone, I'm at the Bamboo Raft Pier in Wuyi Mountain, Fujian. This rafting trip is one of the must-do experiences here. In 2024, entry to Wuyi Mountain is free, but the 9-bend stream raft ride still costs money. Watching my video, though, is free. The raft ticket is 130 yuan, but there is a small hidden cost, so in practice it is more like 150 yuan per person. After you board, the boatman asks each person for a 20 yuan guide tip. If even one person refuses, the whole raft skips the guided commentary. With the guide service, he paddles more slowly, tells stories about the landscape along the way, and even helps take photos. So I do recommend paying it. The experience is much better, and you can think of the ride as 150 yuan per person. You need to reserve this in advance, ideally 7 days early. The later it gets, the hotter it becomes, so try to book an earlier slot. At the hall, they wait until 8 people are grouped together because each raft takes 8 passengers. The winding queue looks almost like a maze of massage chairs. There are so many trees here, and the air feels incredibly fresh. Try to sit in the first 2 spots if you can. You are closer to the boatman and the view is the best. We're off. The scenery is beautiful and the water is so clear. Our boatman is funny too, reminding us to hold our phones tight and not panic if one drops. Right after setting off, we could already see fish in the water. Everyone was chatting and enjoying the view while the boatman kept reminding us to keep our phones secure. It feels cool out on the stream and the water is such a vivid green. With the boatman talking along the way, the whole mood is relaxed and fun. Wuyi Mountain was one of China's first natural and cultural World Heritage sites and also one of the first national parks. Very few places hold both titles. It is honestly gorgeous. On the 9-bend stream raft ride, you can see many of Wuyi Mountain's classic views along the banks, and the boatman keeps the jokes coming. The boatman pointed at caves and rock shapes on the cliffs, turning the place names and even work benefits into little punchlines. Here the water is already deep enough that the pole cannot reach the bottom. It is incredibly green and clear, and the Danxia cliffs begin to appear in the distance. The boatman says we are now entering the main scenic section. This is the first bend, and the most beautiful views are still ahead. Along the way, you can spot sites like Yunu Peak, Sanyang Peak, and Beiyan Temple. The boatman also turns the shapes of the mountains into all kinds of funny associations. Here he compares the rocks to KFC, McDonald's, and hamburgers. Everyone is looking around and laughing. There are cameras on the cliffs and throughout the scenic area, using smart management to protect this natural and cultural heritage. The boatman also talks about fire prevention and daily management, saying the park can spot and respond to problems quickly. A fish just jumped out of the water. We have reached the second bend, and yes, 9-bend stream really does have 9 bends. Every bend has different rocks and stories. The boatman's commentary is full of jokes, and he also reminds everyone to listen politely. The Danxia cliffs are stunning up close, and the commentary makes them even more fun to look at. That is Yunu Peak in the distance, with one of Asia's largest single flat rock faces. It is about 490 meters above sea level, rises roughly 290 meters, and has 848 steps. The lines on Yunu Peak look like tree patterns carved by rainwater over time. When it rains, water runs down like a waterfall, and it must be spectacular. The boatman is soaked with sweat from paddling. It really is hard work. On the bank, plenty of people are climbing Yunu Peak too. He even helps everyone take photos with Yunu Peak in the background. Along the way, he keeps talking about filming locations, caves, and red-eyed fish, one joke after another. By here, we are roughly in the second half of the ride. 9-bend stream is 5 kilometers long, and the scenery is beautiful the whole way. Everyone turns around to look at the fish. There are lots of big ones in the water, including Wuyi Mountain's special red-eyed fish. The boatman says this fish is also called red-eye trout and has several local nicknames. He jokes that both its taste and its value are anything but ordinary. He says the fish here are well protected and should not be disturbed. Everyone laughs along as he keeps turning simple questions into jokes. Here you can also see scenery connected with hanging coffins. The boatman says these wooden coffins were placed high in the cliffs long ago, somewhat like the sites around Wuyi Mountain. This area has been preserved beautifully, so many films and TV dramas have used it as a location, including scenes connected with Journey to the West. Wuyi Mountain has appeared in many dramas and films, such as Sword Stained with Royal Blood, The Forbidden Kingdom, and The Deer and the Cauldron. The boatman says people even worked here as extras before. Now we have come around behind Yunu Peak. It is one of Wuyi Mountain's signature sites. This is one of the prettiest spots and a great place for photos. Many people stop here to take a picture. The boatman then tells the legend of Dawang Peak and Yunu Peak. To see Dawang Peak clearly, you look at its reflection in the water as if the two peaks are gazing at each other across the stream. Seeing Dawang Peak means the raft ride is almost over. We are now on the final stretch. The last section feels a little like the Amazon, with dense greenery along both sides of the water. Nine Bend Stream is truly beautiful. The ride is about to end, so remember to check your belongings and make sure nothing is left on the raft. The whole route is 5 kilometers and takes about an hour and a half. With the boatman's commentary, it never feels boring. I really recommend getting the guided service because without it, the experience would feel completely different. The boatman also helps with photos. Overall, it is absolutely worth it. I'm Xiaowei and there is only so much I can fit in one video, so check out my other Wuyi Mountain clips. Remember to like, save, and follow. Bye bye.